Hello there, my mate Vince here, and in this video today we're going to be trying to fix up not one, not two, but 3 steam generator irons. So these are very expensive irons. They roughly retail for around about £200 each. That one there's a little bit less, these two are a little bit more, and all 3 of them were purchased from eBay as faulty. So I'm going to plug them in and show you what the faults are, and then we're going to try and fix them. Let's see at the end how many we can get working out of the 3. It's going to be quite a long video because I'm working on 3 separate items rather than the one item. So it's going to be a job lot of steam generating irons. Wish me luck. So I've filled up this one here. There's about half the water in here. And when I first all turned it on, it was like making kind of boiling sounds coming from inside somewhere. And I can move around here and it's doing this. And it was flashing to begin with. In fact, I can hear those boiling sounds again. But it must be already up to temperature for the small amount of steam there. But yet there isn't anything happening. Whether I turn this, there's no heat coming from the actual plate here itself, and if I press this button, there's nothing happening either. So this one isn't heating up when it comes to the actual iron, but I don't know what those gurgling sounds are, whether it's, there's a bit of heat, there's a bit of heat from in here. So maybe the water is being heated in there, but it's not here. But why is it not coming through? Unless maybe there's some electrical connection that's gone between here and the base. Maybe it's actual wire problem. I think this is going to be interesting. Now with this one here, the light was flashing, it's gone to solid, I've got water in here, there's a huge amount of heat coming from the iron itself, and I can hear boiler sounds from it, but it took quite a while before I heard the sounds. I can turn this here, watch this, the light will come on, and then it will go out when it gets to temperature, but when I press the button, there's no steam being generated at all. And it doesn't matter what temperature I have it on here, there's still no steam being generated. So this one has a problem steaming. Now with this one here, it's making all the right sounds. There's definitely heat coming from the iron. So the iron's heating up. You can actually see that when I put it up higher, the blue light comes on here and then goes out. So that's coming up to temperature. The light's gone solid for the steam. Yeah, you can see that's flashing. That's also flashing. But when I go onto this one, it is solid. But with this one, there's no steam coming out. So no steam on this one either, which is interesting. Also, this one has unfortunately got damaged in transit, which is a shame. I have got all those plastic bits though, so possibly I could super glue them back on, but that's not why it's not working. So it's quite clever actually. Let's just turn this off. They look like, I don't know about all of them, but they've got like this separate little compartment in here, and this is for like descale, and I can actually see there's white scale residue on the inside there. So you fill the water through here, but then when it goes through the descale process, it's supposed to put the dirty water or something in here to descale itself. So yeah, not sure if there's a technique. I need to watch a video to see if there's a technique to take that on and off. With these ones you have a little button here that you press that makes it easy. So basically we have that one there doesn't heat or steam, this one doesn't steam, this one doesn't steam. So I think we're going to start on this one here, and then hopefully we'll get to understand it more, and it might make fixing these 2 easier. And just to quickly show you this, each of them have a little light that comes on to let you know when to fill it up with water. This little light here, and I was thinking, well, how does it do that? Well, have a look in here, there's a little float. Can you see when I do that? It moves up and down, and it's got a little magnet on it. So there must be something just here, inside here, that recognizes this. When the magnet's low, it must be some reed switch or something. When the magnet's low, it knows that that it's out of water. So I like little things like that. Right, it's been about half an hour or so. Yeah, I can still feel heat down in this area here. So my Vincey predictions are that I think there's an electrical problem between here and here, because the steam button's not working, but also it's not heating up here. And what's the odds of having the button fail and this at the same time? I think pretty slim. And obviously power goes into the unit down here, but it's not coming up to here, I don't think. So let's start with this one here, and let's just see if we can get continuity maybe between the cables. I mean, it all looks brand new, so I don't think there is going to be an issue. But let's, I don't think it's going to be a cable fault, but let's see if we have some sort of continuity between here and here, and then that might give us an idea of what's what. So I've emptied out the water from the front, and obviously it goes without saying I'm unplugged. I've never worked on these irons before. Just take this video purely for entertainment. Don't copy it like a how-to video, because I may do stuff that in the incorrect way, I may do stuff that is actually dangerous inadvertently. So do not copy what you see in these videos. Interestingly, we have tri-wing screws in there. Now I've actually got another 2 Morphy Richard irons that I bought last year sometime. I don't know what model they are. They might be the same as these, so I might be able to get spares. You know, I've got 5 irons all together. They're all Morphy Richards, although they all look a little bit different. There might be spares on the inside that are the same as each other. Oh, that came off nice. Well, look at that. That was nice and straightforward. So the cable comes up here and the pipes come up here, obviously. So you can see the black electrical cable and the clear tube here for the steam. And that black one looks like we have a black, a pink, because it's not just power, is it? We're going to have to have a connection for the switch as well. So we have a pink wire, a black wire, and a green wire. Oh, the green wire is earth. The blue is in that as well, so it's a 4-core wire. Okay, well, they look like they are all intact. I'll tell you what we could do. Let's see. This goes off to the plate, doesn't it? These ones here, the braided ones. So should we see if we have an ohms reading? And that will say whether the element's gone, won't it? So let's undo that one and that one, because that's going to be grounds. If we have an ohms reading, that might tell us that the element's okay. So I'm not going to take a picture just yet, because I've got blue to blue, so I know that that's okay there. And this red one's going to pink. I'm just disconnecting them, so then I know I'm testing purely the element and I'm not going back down into the base of the iron. Oh, that goes up here. Oh, that goes off to the switch, it must be. Oh, well, we can test the switch then by undoing this one here. Well, there we go. We can test the element and the switch now, can't we? Because the 2 white wires are going off to the switch, because they go off here, so they must go to this switch here. Right, first things first, let's test the switch. So I'm going to put my meter in continuity mode. So it beeps when the wires touch together. So I'm going to go here and here and try to reach over and do the switch. There we go. Switch is working. So that's okay. Right, now let's go to an ohms reading. And we're going to test the element. I don't know what it should be testing. I'm just looking to see if it's testing something. If there's nothing there, it means it's completely open and it means it's failed. So let's go here and here. Oops, hold on. 63 ohms. So I think that's probably going to be okay. So it's not a problem with it's not a problem with the switch, and it's not a problem with the elements. So we've eliminated that. Let's put these back in, and let's go down to the actual base unit itself, because I don't think the problem's up here. Again, the problem could be with the cable, but I think it's unlikely. I'll leave the back off this for the time being. So once I screw the wires back in, I need to take apart the base station. There's about 5 Phillips screws on the bottom, and then there's one hidden one just at the very top front that just connects the front part to the back part that lifts off. And then we can see what's happening inside. Wow. That's actually come apart really easy. I can feel heat. Yeah, they're still warm. Right, so that's the safety button there to release that. What else we got here? We've got these rubber things. And yeah, that's about it. Right. Wow. Well, that looks complicated. We've got some kind of like MOSFET-y type things here as well, or voltage regulators. That's just dropped out. That's dropped out. Right, that's covers here. I don't know where that came from, but that needs to go on the top, doesn't it? That goes on here, so that's okay. Right, fine. This looks complicated. Fits in there. So this is where the tank goes. Hold on a minute though. The tank, well that's at the top. How can it get water from the top? Oh, there's pipes going down. Well actually there's only one pipe going down. There's a pipe just on this side here. Can you see it? There. Yeah, so just here. Okay, so that's one pipe going down. This is for the dirty water from when it's been descaled. Why have we got two here? Is one pumping water back in that's not being used? Maybe? So it sucks up from one, and would it return? Would that be a return? I think we need to, got ribbon cables and everything, I think we need to go on to here to see if we have continuity, just in case it's gone where it's flexing. Let's see if my theory was correct. Again on continuity. So first of all, pink. It's not the pink, there's continuity there. Let's go on to the blue, which is going over here somewhere. There. The ground, I'm presuming, should be okay. But the ground goes off here. To that block, ground block there, that's okay. So now it's just a black. And it's not that, so it's not a wiring problem. Uh-oh. Right, so there's no power in getting up to the element. So let's see what colour the element is here. Let's forget about the steam button for a moment. The element is going to be on the blue and the red, which is going to be blue and pink. So let's see where blue and pink goes. So blue goes over this side, which goes next to that. Well, blue goes everywhere. Over to there. Pink goes to this circuit board. Oh no, the circuit board, that's not going to be repairable. It's all covered in this rubbery silicone-y stuff. Look, in fact there's components there that I can see. It's all been covered. And these look like some sort of relays. Everything's been covered. Oh no, what a nightmare. How am I going to work this one out? Even the capacitor there, can you see the capacitor? Everything has just been absolutely covered in this stuff. And it's really nicely done. You can see that they've put it in a little tray and then they've just poured it on and it's gone level there. I mean, it looks really good. So why? I think I'm going to have to do some swapping off components and stuff around between them. Because the other ones weren't steaming, but this one isn't heating and steaming. It's doing something different. So for example, the others might have a problem with... the others might be simple. It might be a problem with that button. And if I can get one working, then I can get others working. Because how would I fault find this anymore now? So that's going off to the descale. That compartment's descale. Let me see which is the pickup feed again. So this plugs in here. The pickup feed is on the left hand side. So it's this one. Where does this go to? This looks like it goes off to the front somewhere. How bizarre. This is going off to the front. There's a blue thing down here. Just here. So would that be a pump? If the pump's not, well mind you, if the pump's not working, it would still heat up. I think this is going to be a circuit board failure. Everything just looks brand new. It can't be a problem with this because this is working. It's something on here which is not working. And it's sealed. It's not repairable. It would take hours to scrape all that away. I can't even test it, can I? You know what? You might be able to get it out of the plastic. But I don't want to do this if this is not faulty. It's sealed on the other side as well. Oh no, they've put rubber down the other side. So you can't get to the other side of the components. Look. Can you see down in there? It's rubberized right the way down. That's amazing. I've never seen that before. I mean, that'd be really good for shock and everything, wouldn't it? And water. That's really good. It's just very hard to test, or impossible to test. Really, it's impossible to test, isn't it? So you can only replace it as a whole. Okay, let's park this one for the moment. And I think we should take apart the other one that looks like this. Right, so this one here is a slightly different model. The back bit here looks different. Now, obviously I'm unplugged again. The switch is clicking, but remember this one heats up, it just doesn't allow the steam. So let's first of all check the switch, just in case it is that. I can see those little tri-wing screws at the back again. Now this one didn't have the descale thing at the front, so I think you have to descale it. In fact, it says here how to descale it at the back. And basically there's a massive big thing here, big bolt thing that you have to undo using this as a key. So I presume this is going to be less complicated on the inside. Right, again we have two wires going up here, so let's just test that without undoing anything. I think it's going to be okay because it's clicking okay. So we're in here where the two wires, the white wires go. What a shame. But it looks like the same setup with the same black cable again. Right, so it's not going to be anything to do with here, because this blue light comes on. Okay, I'm going to put that cover back on. And it looks like the same setup with all the screws in the same place again. Excellent, exactly the same as the last one. Okay, so we've got one less thing in here. Remember we had a black and a red one because we had some descale thing going on, while with this is manual descaling. Yeah, I can feel and smell the heat still on that. So now, what was this one doing? This one's not steaming, but yet it's heating up. So we do have another circuit board here, but luckily this one isn't covered in gunk. Look, this is a normal circuit board. Unfortunately, it looks completely different. There's only two relays on this one. Right, so now this one could be a pump that's failed, couldn't it? That one looks pretty white on the inside there. It doesn't feel blocked, you know. So it's got scaling, but it doesn't feel blocked. That feels warm. It's making no attempt to pump it, is it? So this is getting warm, but it's not pumping on. So now, again, it could be a circuit board thing. It could be a pump failure. It could be an issue, couldn't it, with the wiring from the switch down. That I didn't check. I didn't check that. Yeah, it could be an issue with the switch on this one. So now, where does it go? There's a bit of a kink in those wires. They are they the switch wires? No, they're not. Oh, this is the thing here. Oh, that's clever. You know, that magnetic thing. What I said was going to be the reed switch. Yeah, so the 2 wires go off to that at the front. The magnet for the float, to let it know whether there's water in or not. Right, so switch, where did the switch run down? It was the black and the red, wasn't it? Right, oh no, the switch goes between the blue and the black. So the blue and the black. So the blue goes over here. And the black goes here. So now let's see. Yeah, it's not a cabling problem. Okay, let's try and work this out then. So we know it's not the wires, but we do know that it's going between the blue and the black. So is it the black that's actually responsible for doing the switching? Because the blue is just connected to everything, really. You know, the blue must be like the neutral that goes absolutely everywhere. So what happens on the board? Oh, it could be so many things. Because maybe a relay needs to switch in order then to put the power through to the pump down here. What does this thing do? Maybe the pump is pumping it into here, but this isn't pumping it out. I mean, this must be another pump. I think it's one of those things I'm going to have to plug in to see what's happening. I might physically be able to hear the pump working. I might see it vibrating. We could maybe measure for voltage here. I'll tell you what, let's see if I can actually read what voltage this is supposed to be. AC 230 volts, 50 hertz. I'm going to Google JIAYIN JYZ-3 and see what it says. Well, amazingly, they have it on Amazon, and it is a steam generator solenoid valve coil 10 bar. So what I'm thinking is I could either swap it for the other one, but I don't know it's faulty, but that looks so, it says it's a steam generator. How about, and the thing is it's not steaming, even though the button's working. If I was to go, because we've only actually got 2 contacts, there is a ground one here, but it must be grounded through here. Let's just double check that. Earthed, I should say. Yeah, so it's earthed through here. So if I go between this, which must be neutral, and the red one must be live, then if I was to do this and press the button on the steam when it's plugged in, then it should we should see 230 volts, shouldn't we? And if we do, it means then that this is faulty. If we don't, it's something feeding this, which is probably going to be here. So obviously do not copy what you see in my videos. I wish I didn't have to work on this live, but I don't know how else to test this. I'll tell you what, let's see if we got an ohm reading, because if it's a solenoid, it must be a coil. So let's see if we have an ohm reading on here. Isn't that interesting? We don't. We don't have an ohm reading. Surely we have to have an ohm reading, because if it's a solenoid, it must be a coil. No? Let's go between here and here. Nothing. Nothing. Check my leads. Okay, let's just check the other one, because the other one did have a different fault than this. Let's see if that's testing the same. Just going to balance that there a minute. Right, let's see what this is testing. There you go. We found our problem. So that's failed. And it looks like this one hasn't. So it's 2,400 ohms. What about if we go between that and that? Nothing. How about that and that? Nothing. I wonder if they are interchangeable, because they are a different colour. I just want to see if these markings are the same, because this says like A1 1203, A1 901. Let me see the markings on this. So this says TA 140 degrees, TF 160 degrees. JYZ dash, is that a 3? I think so, that's the same. 9 to 12 volt VA, that's the same. 140 and 160. 1 to 6 bar, is that what the other one said? P equals 0, 1 to 6 bar. Bear with me. Yeah, P equals 0, 1 to 6 bar. Okay, well what I'm going to do is let's take out the faulty one to begin with, and then we can put the red one in, because I think the red one might be working. And then obviously, depending on if I can, how many I can get fixed, I can always buy one off Amazon. Or, do you know what, I might be able to get it cheaper elsewhere. So I'm just going to take a picture so I know where the connections go. So I'm not going to have to remove this bit here, because there's no way that I can seal it back into this boiler down here. So I'm just going to undo this nut and see what's happening. Also, I have to try to do these here. So they're going to have those little tabs again, I think. Yep. There we go. Now that's the other way round. Hold on, let's get this one off. Well done, Vince. Nicely stabbed. To be fair to me, it is a miracle if you use those sharp tweezers and don't stab yourself. It's certainly the norm. So all I have to do is take off the power leads feeding this, and then I just need to use the big adjustable spanner to undo the nut, and it kind of wiggles off left and right. If you start rotating it a bit, it kind of wiggles off. It's not hard to remove. And then I engage my brain and start to think how this actually works, and I think I've worked it out. So let me just waffle on about how I think it works, and then we'll get the red one out, swap them over and see if it does actually work. When you energize it, there's a coil. When you energize it, it shoots through a little kind of piston-y thing in here. So this one is a normally closed one, so when nothing's happening it's closed. And then when it gets energized, it's going to open, and it's going to allow... I suppose the pressure's built up, hasn't it? So it's not like a pump, but this is just, I think it's just like an open and closed gate. The pressure builds up in here. Now, it could still be a fault with the pump itself, not pumping into here, but this is really warm, and I'm thinking it would overheat if there was no water in here. So I think there must be, well, in fact, can we hear it? There we go. I can hear water in there, unless that was from when it was working, which is possible. So the pressure must build up because it's steam, and then it can't go anywhere. But then when this gets energized, it opens, and the reason it gets energized is when we press the button, it's sending a signal down to here, probably via a relay, to then open this up. And then this will open up and send the steam shooting through here. So I think this has to be faulty, because there has to be a coil, and it's not reading anything. So this has to be faulty. So let's take off the red one and swap them over and see if this one then becomes a working iron. (2,400 ohms). And nothing. So it may have other faults, but 100% we've identified a fault there. Definitely. Right, you are. So they're both JYZ3. Same, 140, CTF that, insulation class H, brilliant. They're exactly the same. So I think what's happened here is, to save maybe confusion at the factory, originally they were black because there was only one of them, but maybe Morphy Richards asked if they could start supplying that in red to make it different than this one here. Unlikely, but maybe that's the reason. I mean, they're totally different sizes, but still, maybe that is the... do you know what? The inner shaft is the same size, actually. So that's the reason why. So they knew to put black on that side, red that side, just to make it more... I'm going to say idiot-proof. I don't mean that in a nasty way. Right, okay, let's fit this one. Right, that's gone on lovely and easy, so let's try to put this on here. That's gone on very well. This has got a little cup side of it, kind of, it's like it goes in a little bit here to allow that rubber washer. I'm not sure how tight to do this. I think I'm going to leave it at that. And let me just double check how this was originally. So it was the blues up the top and the red at the bottom. As I say, I don't think it makes a difference. But if this item is the same, which is marked up as being the same, then as long as I've put this back together, then if there is anything weird going on here, then at least I know I've put it back how it was. There we go, and that's insulated that there. I think that there is just fine. Now, should I remove that and put it elsewhere, or is it quite happy? I suppose that's where it was originally. So that kink's a bit annoying, that. There we go. Right, I am going to put the lid back on here, and I won't do up all the screws. We'll see whether it starts working or not. Right, first things first, I just want to see if that light comes on to say this is empty, because then we know that that little switch here is on the inside is working. Okay, so I'm going to plug it in. Hopefully it won't go bang. I'm in, it beeped. Okay, I'm going to turn it on. Excellent, it's beeped at me and the little light, I don't want to turn it, I've got to be careful, I don't want to, obviously it's not screwed together. Can you see that little light is on there? So now let's turn it off. So that light says that there's no water in it, so that's fantastic. Right, let's fill it up with water. Right, I've just put a bit in there. Okay, here goes. I'm going to turn it on. And let's see what's going to happen. So we've got a blue light on here. But I can unlock this now. Blue light here. Let's wait until it starts making noises. I can already hear it. And we've got a flashing red light here. You can just see it flashing off my hands. There you go, you can see it flashing there. I'll wait until it goes solid. Certainly making lots of noise. Whoa, 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 I didn't like that. Okay, maybe that's supposed to happen. I'm just going to stand back a bit. There's some horrible brown stuff come out of it, which must be old scale. maybe that's completely normal. It's still flashing. Look at all that horrible stuff there. I should really mop that up before it gets into it somehow. Imagine if I gave this to my wife and said, yeah, it's a really good iron, and then that ended up coming out of it on a white shirt. It's still flashing down here, so it's not up to temperature yet. But clearly the steam, it didn't do that before. Yes, it's gone solid. Right, okay. So it's up to temperature. Let's see now, are you gonna steam? Results. Look at that. I better be careful of my camera. Fantastic. Well, clearly I need to get rid of all this horrible marking down here. But I think if I was to do this in another room where I weren't worried about damaging my camera, I think if I did that for a while, I think that would clear it out. Well, brilliant news. It seems like we have fixed it. I'm just going to go to the other turbo and see what happens on turbo. So now that's flashing. And what I'll do is, because this will probably be put in use, because the one that I got is from Costco. It must be 20 something years old now. It was like the first steam iron. I think it's a Tefal one. It's still working, but all this has become kind of frayed and has gone down, and sometimes it can get a little bit hot. So what I'll do is, this will be going into use. I'll put water from the Brita filter in there, so because I live in a hard water area, and then hopefully you won't get so much of this scale. Right, it's gone to solid here now. Let's see what it's going to do on turbo. Whoa, holy moly! Whoa, 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 that's amazing. Just get it away from my camera. Right, that is fixed. Let's turn it off. What does eco mean? Oh, eco just puts it back to turbo, takes it away from turbo. Right. Fantastic news. Okay, I'm going to let it cool down, and then I have to put all the screws underneath it. And then I think we're going to move on to the next one, because the other one, obviously I've borrowed a solenoid thing from it. They look like they cost 20 quid. I think it's the circuit board that's failed on that one, and that's the reason it's not heating up this or letting the steam through, because clearly the solenoid was working. So I think it's more a communication problem, which I think is going to be the circuit board. But that fix there, I thoroughly enjoyed, because it was just like detective work, working out what's what and thinking, well, hold on a minute, the boiler's warm, but yet there's no steam happening, and yet the button works here, and we have continuity right down into the circuit board. So then that solenoid, before even looking to see what it was, you're going to think that that's faulty, aren't you? Because it's not allowing that to that's the thing that's bringing it out of the boiler into here. I really, really enjoyed that one. Fantastic. Right, on to this one. So this one doesn't steam. And we've got a load of broken stuff here. 1 second, my eyes are just adjusting. You got to admit though, it is a really odd colour. I mean, clearly yellow yellow could be, but today it seems to have taken on a slight green tinge. I've got to get my money's worth out of it, even if it does mean a loss in subscribers. Right, we've got a load of screws at the bottom here again, so let's undo all them. So this one comes apart in a very similar fashion to the other two. So although this one's newer, it's still the same kind of process. If you took apart one of the other ones, you're going to know your way around this one as well. Be interesting to see on the inside if it is the same. Be interesting to see if the same solenoid valves are in these ones, because this one also heats up, but it doesn't steam. So the iron gets hot, but there's no steam coming out. Let's see what the problem is. Well, this is all a little bit more accessible, isn't it? Because look, this is the pump that was hidden away in the other one. And the other one was blue as well, so it might well be the same pump. So with these, there might be a lot of interchangeable parts. Let's take this off. Does this come out? That comes out there. Nice. Nice and nice. We're going to be free? We are. Right, so we have the pump. And we have the descaling one, because it goes off down the side. So it's this one here. So I'm going to go straight to this. This is a steam generator here. Shall we see if it's the same? TVZ3. Is that this one here? Sorry, JYZ. My eyes are going. Hold on. JYZ3. It's the same. It's exactly the same. So I wonder what the difference is between the older and the newer models. Maybe the actual iron gets up to a higher temperature. Just editing this video back, and I've just realised that they're both black, you know, the solenoid things, while on the previous one it was black and red. So I thought that the red was to demarcate which one would go on the right and the left, but clearly not, because they're both black in this instance. A bit confusing when they've got the same model number, why one would be designed in black and one would be designed in red when these things are not on display, they're hidden away. Very strange. Right, let's check this one here. I'm going to say that it's going to be 40. So let's see if we have an ohm reading on it. The yellow mat always brings us good luck. Let's see now. Is it going to be this? I hope it's not, because I might be able to use a spare off the other one to fix this. But I think it's going to be this. How annoying. It's that. No, there's no ohm reading. Yeah. So it must be a known weak spot. Ah, what a shame. It's the same as this one here. Ah, I haven't got another one. Well, I haven't got another one, so I'll have to buy one. Or, you know what I do like to do? Obviously it's sealed, it's not fixable, but why has it gone? It's just a coil of wire. I mean, does it get incredibly hot from here? Why has it failed? If it's failed on both of them, it says to me there's probably hundreds or thousands of them worldwide that have also failed from this thing here. So, should we get the Dremel tool, cut this one open and see what's going on? Imagine if we could resolder. I'm going to say, take a guess that it's gone where the wires just join onto these, because this is kind of molded in the plastic here, and I think maybe with vibration, I don't know, I can't see why it's failed because it's also sealed, but it clearly has. I bet it hasn't burnt out. I bet it's a failure where the wires come away from these ones here. So I get the Having Fun Repairs Dremel tool out and I start cutting into it to see what I can find. But it's kind of hard because I don't know the layout of it. But I'm just doing it gently, bit by bit, and using a screwdriver and little side cutters to try to chip away bits of it, just to see if we can find out if there's a broken wire somewhere. While I'm doing that, we'll shout out the My Maven's Massive. And the members this month are KipDigital.com, Kip Hakes, Max Rokotansky, Chris Seal, Felipe at MrKeebs.com, DJVG, Pigsy, Anthony Dean, Bazza2, Russ Melanson, Gaspar Heller, Ricard Berglands, SoulReaver555, the My Mate Vince Fan Club, Shamsa Al Sawadi, and Stuart Park. So as always, a massive thanks to each and every one of you. Now let's have a little closer look at this. You can see that basically there is a coil, but everything's been embedded in the resin, so it's completely destructive getting into it. But at least now you see that it's just one massive coil going around the place. So unfortunately it's something which isn't fixable because you can't get into it. But what's more interesting for me is how on earth did it fail? If you think about it, yes, it's very thin wires, but there should be no vibration on this. And it's all sealed in resin. So what caused a sealed wire to fail? Very strange indeed, because I would have thought once this was working, it would work forever. So yeah, not sure. But clearly it has failed, and also the other ones failed as well. And I'm sure there's hundreds, if not thousands, because this product's used in loads of different steam irons. I reckon there's probably thousands of these that have failed worldwide. Why? Why is that? Anyway, while you ponder that, I am going to, rather than just buy a new one of these, I do have another 2 irons. So I just want to double check to see if they're Morphy Richards, to see if they're the same sort of style. And if they are, I might well go into those ones and see if I can harvest some spare parts from there. Because I've been buying these irons for like 20-ish pounds, between 20 and 30 pounds. So why would I go and buy a part from Amazon for like 20-ish pounds when I've got one lying somewhere next to me? See, for me, it's not a waste of time taking that apart because it was nice to see the inside of it. And it is one big coil of wire. So what happens is when you connect up the electricity to it, it creates a magnetic field in there, which shoves basically the middle bit out like this. Or in, maybe it's out, and then it, when you put it on, it goes in. And it allows all the steam to come through because in that boiler, in that big metal pot, This thing, there's a huge amount of pressure, but it can't go anywhere. But when you energize this, what happens is this goes in here, and then the steam comes flying out. Let go of the trigger, and it goes back out again. And then it stops the steam from coming out of here. I presume that's how it works anyway. So yeah, every time you press the button, that's getting sucked in. So it's just like opening a gate and closing a gate. Or opening a tap and closing a tap. Right, this is one of them here. I haven't even turned this one on. I don't know what the fault is, but I can see it's had a right old whack in here. These obviously don't fare well on eBay packing. Luckily though, this is intact. So I can borrow this one for a faulty one, if we get this one working. So let's see if, I'm not even going to test this one. I want to see if that part's working on the inside. And then what I can do is I can finish up this video. And then I'll do a separate video on these two. Right now, let's see, fingers crossed, we're going to get a resistance reading. Are you ready? Here we go, one on, come on. You annoying thing. Wow, it's a design fault, isn't it? It's gone. Crazy. Let's see about this one here. Yeah. What a shame. Looks like I'm going to be bulk buying these. Well, the thing is, this is broken all over the place, so it's just a case of making as many as I can out of the broken ones. Right, well, let's take that. Looks a bit fizzed up here as well, doesn't it? Looks like it might be leaking a bit. What a shame. I wonder why they're failing. Because they're really well made. Is it just a manufacturing defect? That's really odd. Really, really, really odd. Right, I've got one more. Let's see if that one's going to be working. Now, will this one fare any better? So that's how that works there. You put it in and that's quite nice actually. So that's where you can store the cord like that. Okay. I mean, if I can get one working, I've got loads of spares forever. You know, like the iron and stuff. Be easy to swap out, wouldn't it? I can see more broken plastic on this one. Oh, it's all broken in here. Look at that. Yeah. What I don't. Yeah. Just honestly, it's kind of weird. If I was to buy it from Argos and get it delivered, it would be fine. But when you buy from eBay, I don't know whether it's not different couriers. That's what I don't understand. And the packaging. I mean, it's in its original box, but just look at that. Unless, of course, maybe when I bought it, I'd have to look back at the listing. Maybe when I bought it, it had all these cracks on it. Oh, rusty. This one's all rusty up here. Yeah, really rusty. But it might be okay electrically. Maybe it's leaking, but it's okay electrically. Come on, be good to me. Yes! Yes, yes, yes! I can finish a video. Result. Brilliant. Let's just see if this one... It's amazing how quick, once you get used to these things, how quick you can like fix and swap around parts. So we know now that those two are okay. I think this pump itself, I think this might have failed. I bet you this is seized up inside. So looking at the inside of this iron, there was actually a fair bit of rust, not just on the part that I'm going to take, but also where the cables come into the iron. I can see that the little clamps that they use, the screws are all rusty, so there's evidence of rust everywhere. So I think under high pressure, water has been spurting out of this boiler. And interestingly, where the valves go into the boiler, there's that red kind of gunk around it to seal it. Maybe that's a better way than maybe using PTFE tape. Maybe it works at higher temperatures and higher pressure. But on this part here, it looks like it's failed. It looks slightly rusty and it looks like there's a crack in it. So let me zoom in and show you that. I think that's what was the problem with this iron here. I believe there was probably water leaking from the inside of it. Maybe all the steam wasn't going to the iron, so that's where the end user noticed, but a lot of that steam was being built up in the iron, so I suppose that's going to end up leaking out of the iron. So I think that's the original failure of this. So it must be leaking out a high pressure from here or something. Or maybe this red sealant has failed. It does look like there's a bit of a crack in it just here. I think it's been spitting up from here. Personally, I don't think it's worth fixing this one. This can only be used as spares. You can see the water's even got as far as here because even the screws down here are rusty. Something's happened on this bit here, and yeah, I'm pretty sure, because if you look at the rest of the sealant, it goes all the way around. It's got a nice rubbery feel to it. Here, it's split. In fact, I think I can see just here the little hole. See here? Look there, that little hole. There you go. It's in there, isn't it? There you go, that's it. It's, I think it's been bubbling up from here. Those bits. Yeah, okay. I don't think that is fixable unless they screw in and you could put some sort of PTFE tape on. Or gas tape. Well, I suppose PTFE tape would do the job, wouldn't it? I wonder, does that work up to a certain pressure? Must do, mustn't it? Yeah, that's what's happened there. Yeah, so that may have actually been an interesting fix. Let's just see if that nut undoes. That might have been more interesting than the ones we were actually working on. Let's just see if this would undo. I presume it's not under pressure now. Hasn't been plugged in months. Oh, it will. Yeah, it does undo. Yeah, that might have been slightly more interesting. Anyway, it is what it is. It looks like possibly it might screw in. I do actually take it a little bit further, but what happens is I can only unscrew it so far because you see the other solenoid valve gets in the way, and even if you were to take off the black thing, the actual valve itself is in the way. So even if you take off the coil, you would have to fix this one, you would have to take off the bigger solenoid valve thing that goes into the boiler in order to screw this one in. That is, of course, if they do screw in. Maybe there's some kind of pressure fit or something. I don't know. I'm assuming they're going to screw in, but I actually haven't got a clue. Anyway, what I have to do is I have to get my little grinding pen out, and I have to clean up the coil because it's all rusty everywhere. Not that it's going to make a difference, because as long as the coil's intact on the inside, it doesn't really matter if there's surface rust. It's still going to do its job of creating a magnetic field. It's just that it doesn't look very nice. So I'm just cleaning that up there, and then we need to fit it to the one that I was working on a little while ago now, and hopefully that will then be a working iron. So let me cut to where I'm just fitting that. You know, if you bought a load of these up and you bought some of these irons, or you're in the market for one of these irons, then it really is. You don't even have to do any soldering, do you? You just have to undo, what, 6 screws? And then this big nut here, pinch these to get them off. They can be a little bit fiddly. You have to, like, you know, find that little locking tab and pull them off. And that's it, just undo the nut. It really is incredibly easy. So I suppose most of the ones, if they say on eBay that it heats up but doesn't steam, then I think it's near enough guaranteed that it's probably this thing at fault. But then if it says doesn't steam and doesn't heat up, then it's probably going to be the circuit board. If it said it doesn't descale, it's probably going to be that. And if it says it heats up, but it doesn't, if it says it can't hear any noise, because you can hear the pump working at the very beginning, pumping water into here. So yeah, I suppose there's a chance the pump could fail as well. But on the ones we've looked at, most definitely, that is the weak link. Right, I'm going to be obviously putting the best parts back together to try to make one good one out of all the bad ones. Right, that's back together. It feels nothing like the one I first of all worked on. It just feels much cheaper. Like even trying to get the screws back in, I had to get tweezers to balance the screw, because what happens is you put your screw in, it falls straight out here, and then you try to get it further up here, but it's not just the hole for the screw, it widens up so the screw keeps falling to the side. Then you've got to get another screwdriver to try to knock it vertical and tap it out. It's the quality doesn't feel there like it did on the one that I got working, you know, the first one I got working. Also, I've just looked now and that looks disgusting. But I've got another one that looks okay, so let's have a look at this one. I haven't looked at this one, the one that's back in the box. Like, look at that, that there looks new, doesn't it? So I'm going to see if I can, I mean clearly I know this works, but let me see if there's a way that I can actually take that sole plate off. Well, there is a way, but it's quite time consuming. It took me about 45 minutes. It comes apart relatively easy, and there's a little chocolate block connector in there, so that's nice and easy to get the wires off. The hard bit is putting it back together, because the little temperature dial that you turn, it clicks as you turn it, which is a nice feeling. It's a nice tactical little clicking going on. It feels nice. But in order to do that, there's a spring and a bit of plastic. So you're trying to line that up, and at the same time you're trying to line up the clip at the front. It's not that easy. I'm looking at the length of the video. It's not a fix, I'm only swapping something over, so it's not overly interesting. And will anybody else be doing this in real life? Probably unlikely, because they're just going to be cleaning the sole plate they've got. So I'm just whizzing through this bit now because I don't think it adds to the video at all, and I want to make the video slightly shorter than slightly longer, and it's already long enough. So yeah, at least I've got one good clean iron out of the 3 that were all in pretty bad nick with lots of plastic broken. So next time you see this iron now, it's back together, and I'm just going to show you it heating up. Right, slight change of plan. I'm going to show you them all working at the end, but I'm going to skip now to the next day. A lot's gone into this video and I can't show you all of it. I'm going to skip to the next day now, where I look at the very first one again. Remember the circuit board with all the silicon on it, because I've got an idea that I think may possibly fix it. So let's cut to the next day now when we're working on that one, and then at the end I'll show you this purple one working. I'll get my wife to do a little bit of ironing because she's much better than me. Now, just to remind you, this was the first one that does definitely have power, but it doesn't steam, but also importantly, it doesn't heat up either. So there's 2 separate faults with it. So that's what led me to believe it might be the circuit board. So we're going to go back to it now. But remember, we've already taken off the little solenoid valve to fix one of the other ones. So if I was to be able to get this working, we would have to buy a solenoid valve, because we're completely out of them now, because we've swapped in all the working ones that I have on all 5 irons. Anyway, let's get back to the circuit board that was covered in silicon. Right, I'm taking a very quick look at this one here again. This is the one with the circuit board that was covered in the silicon. Interestingly, it peels off kind of nice. It's actually quite therapeutic. So where you have a big lump of silicon like here, watch this. If you just do that, can you see it actually comes away quite nice? So it's not a complete nightmare getting into it. So I'm not going to be able to get this one working unless I was to get a new one of these here, yeah? But what I'm wondering is, why is it not heating up? So clearly we're not going to be able to get steam out of it, but it looks, you know, brand new. If you look at the bottom here, it doesn't look like it's had much use at all. I'm wondering if it's a faulty relay, because if we were to trace back the hot plate, because this hot plate's not working, it comes back onto the pink and also the the pink and the blue wires here, yeah? And they come up, and basically the pink wire goes to this connection here, yeah? And this connection basically is here, and it goes into this relay here. So I'm wondering whether the relay's at fault, because if we look at the power coming up from the cable, on the brown one goes over to here, which goes up on the red one, which goes to here, and the red one is on this massive big track here. So this track already goes to part of that relay. So that says to me that, unless of course the relay is not being told to be turned on from this side, that's a possibility. It could be this side that's not telling the relay to turn on. Or maybe the signal is getting to the relay and it's not actually, the relay's not switching. And if the relay's not switching, it's not going to be putting power through into here, because this should be quite a simple device. It should be the mains power near enough going straight into here. And this here should have the thermostat built into it that cuts it in and out. So really, the iron itself should not be very complicated. I appreciate it starts to get complicated when you're talking about the descaling and stuff, but the iron part should be straightforward. So I'm wondering if that relay's failed. So what I am going to do is, I'm wondering why we've got 3 relays. Let me just see if I can work that out. Oh, well, orange wire goes off to here, so we must need a relay for this, and we must need a relay for this. So this is going to be the blue and the red. And does that red go to another relay? Up to here. That red goes up to here. Yeah, see, I'm not sure about that one. So where does the white one go off to then? The white one, does that go off to the pump? Or would it be the heater? Oh, the white ones go off to these weird thermal fuses at the bottom here. So basically the white one is also one of the relays. So it looks like we have a relay for this, a relay for the heater, and a relay for the iron itself. That must be how it works. So I think I am going to, I could either, why don't I swap around the relays, and then that will prove, if I put the middle relay onto here, because we know that this is heating up, because, oh no, sorry, it wasn't getting warm, was it? On this one, nothing was happening. There was no, or what? I can't remember now if it was getting warm. I think it was getting warm. I think I'm going to get the desolder station, because they're the same relays on all of them. They're all marked up the same. Unless maybe one of those relays would be the same in one of the other ones. I could do that, and then just put a complete separate relay in. Mind you, I don't need the descale for this purpose here. I don't need the descale. So let's take the relay out of the, yeah, I'm going to swap this relay and this relay around, and I'm swapping the descale one then for what I think is this one here. Let's do that. Came out lovely and easy. Wow, and that one too. So let's just swap them over. I've checked the markings, they're exactly the same. Right, okay, that's the 2 relays swapped over. So, I think I am going to plug this in, see what it does. Right, I'm just going to put that down here to make that one safe, so it doesn't short against anything. There we go. That's there. So now I should be able to plug this in and just tap this from here without getting electrocuted, and see if that comes, see if the heat starts coming on there. Here goes. It Okay, it's a loud beep. Alright, let's turn it on. Right, it's saying water. I presume the beeping just means that it needs water. The light for the water's on. I just want to see if this starts heating up or not. Maybe you have to have water in it. Do you know what? I bet you have to have water in it. Let's just see. No way, it's getting warm. Oh my word, it's getting warm. Unbelievable. Right, how can I show you that it's getting warm? Where's my little temperature probe gone? Where would that be? How can I show? Oh, flow cam. What am I on about? Oh wow, we're going to be able to get this iron working as well. No way. That's amazing. That's so good. Dodgy relay. What are the odds of that? Right, so watch this. See this here now? Whee! Can you see there? What it says is 110 Celsius. Don't get that hot, does it? Anyway, you can clearly see it's getting warm there. Result. That's amazing. Yeah. And the blue lights come on. There you go. Proof. The blue lights come on here. That wasn't on before, was it? Don't even know if you can see the blue light. There you go. And now watch this. Watch it go off. There. Off. And on. Amazing. So I need to buy myself one of those little steam generator things. That's so good. That's so good. Because I like this iron, this one. Excellent. Right, let me turn it off. It's unbelievable. What a result. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to see if the relays on some of the other irons that I can't fix are the same as that. Excellent news. On one of the other ones with the faulty, this one here, I'm just going to make sure that is definitely faulty. I wasn't imagining it. The relays are the same. Yeah, completely open. The relays are the same, which is really, really good. They're called, I think it's TRG1H or something. They're 240 volt, 10 amp. So there's these ones here. And if you have a look, it says TRG1H, that's it. 10 amp at 250 volts, 10 amp stroke 8 amp at 240 volts AC. So they're the same. So I'm going to pop one of them out, and then all I have to do is buy a new one of these. And we'll have another iron up and running, which is fantastic. So I take the relay out of this donor iron here and I put it into the iron that we're trying to fix, and also I have to order up a new solenoid valve. I thought I'd seen them for sale for £6, but actually when I went to buy them, I think it might have been a different model, because these ones here, which are normally closed, they were getting priced up as £15 delivered from AliExpress, and of course that's coming from China, so it's going to take a while to arrive. I checked on Amazon, you can get them next day delivery. Yes, I ordered on Sunday in the afternoon sometime, and it arrived on Monday at midday for £22. So yeah, you're paying £7 more for that privilege, but you know what, for me, it's a pleasure paying that £7 to have something arrive that quick. It means I can wrap up this video and I haven't got an iron that's in bits lying around my house for the next 2 or 3 weeks. So I love that next day delivery service, especially on weird items like this. I get it if you're buying an SD card, but when you're getting an item like this, you do not expect next day delivery, so I thought that was fantastic. So next time you see this now, they're all going to be back together with the new solenoid valve and the relay in place. I'm not going to show you any of that because you've seen it so many times now already. What I will show you is each iron actually working. When I say I show you, I'm not. I'm going to be holding the camera, my wife's going to be doing it. I'm just going to play some music and you will see all 3 irons working. Right, let me play a little bit of music and you can watch my wife do some ironing. Oh, the joys of YouTube.
A little different than all the rest. I'm quite old-fashioned, wear a hat, sometimes play chess. And when I'm out, I'm looking for that vintage fling. Photo complexions that I adore, so hard to find, these seem impossible to score. So I dream on to someday find that vintage
So this one here is the original one that wasn't working.
The lights were dim as our eyes met.
As you can see now, it's producing a nice bit of steam. And it's ironing. There we have it, 3 working irons. We started off with 3 faulty ones and now we got 3 working ones, but 2 irons had to give their life in order to fix these ones up here. Will I be fixing these? No, because not only do I have to buy that part there, I will also have to do a load of replacements on the plastics here. And believe it or not, this little water container at the front is currently selling for £35 on eBay, because obviously if you've bought an iron for nearly £200 and you drop that and it breaks, which is going to break, then you don't want to throw away your whole iron, so you're probably quite happy to pay £35. So no, I'm not going to be buying spares to fix these ones up here, but it does mean that I've got loads of spares to fix that one up if it fails in the future. Out of all 3 of them, my wife wants that one there, which is fine by me. I think that that's the worst one out of the 3, but usability wise she likes that one the most. She says that it just glides really nice, but I think that these ones here seem like they're much better quality. The way they're made to me just seems much better. I think these ones are slightly more expensive, and I think you can tell little things like, for example, there's a button here to press when you take this bit out here. This one there's not, you just have to yank it out. There's a little kind of spring pressure thing there, so it's just little touches like that. So a nice variety of faults, but overall the main thing that was faulty was this item here, this little steam generator valve solenoid thing. Why does it keep on failing? I can understand the actual valve failing because it's a moving part. Why is a coil failing? Is it manufactured faulty and a whole batch of them went out, as in thousands of them went out in worldwide, and now various different steam irons, because they're not just in Morphy Richards, they're in other ones as well. Are they failing worldwide because there was a faulty batch? Or is it because it's sat on top of a boiler and all that heat is just getting trapped in there? The thing is, it's a wire covered in resin. Why is it failing? I can understand if the coils were shorting together. They're not. They're testing open circuit. Why is it breaking there? So a real strange one to me. So if you could put it down in the comment section, I think it would be of interest, not just to me, but to other people, on why that component has failed overall in most of them, which is kind of interesting. Now, the other thing which is slightly confusing me is this one here was the one with the silicon on the circuit board. Now, I kind of get why they've done that. Maybe it's to do with vibration, maybe it's to do with water splashing onto it if something was to fail. But when I first of all plugged it in, it wasn't steaming and this wasn't coming on. And yet the actual solenoid valve was okay in this one, because I took it out of that one to fix this one from memory. So why was both of them not coming on? You would think if the relay had gone for this, then it would still steam. I appreciate the sole plate is going to be cold, but would it not still steam, because the steam's being generated in here? So I was sure that I fixed it by changing out the relay, because you've seen that I've measured where the wires came down from the sole plate and they went into that relay. I swapped over the relay and now it's working fine. It's working absolutely fine. But I'm wondering if inadvertently, by taking all the silicon off, I've kind of either got rid of some shorts, maybe there was a bit of dampness in there, or maybe there's a cold solder joint in there, because I don't quite understand why, if the relay was faulty, why it would also knock out the steam, because the steam is on a separate part of it. Do you see what I mean? So those 2 faults there I can't seem to link. So I'm not 100% sure on this one here, although it's working now, whether it will play up again or not. Maybe I have to go across the whole circuit board and see if there's any dry joints on there. I might have to solder every single joint. But the relay made sense to me when I did it, but now I'm thinking about it and I'm thinking, well, why didn't it steam? It should still steam through a cold plate. Not sure. Again, if you could put it down into the comment section, I would be grateful. But that is it. Hopefully now, after watching this video, I think you'll have a very good chance of fixing your own Morphy Richards, as long as you do it safely. Make sure everything is unplugged, because I think a lot of them out there are going to have the problem with this solenoid valve here. So I really enjoyed that video there. What I have learnt is they're super complicated, especially ones that do the descaling. If you compare them to an old iron where you just iron your clothes or put a bit of water in and it adds a little bit of steam, these are on a different level. So I can see why these would fail a lot more than just your old-fashioned irons that have been around for years, where there's not much to go wrong with. But still, They're fun. If you enjoyed this video, give it a massive thumbs up, and I will see you all very soon. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.